Hi everyone, I'm Joel Baird, the General Manager of Missoula Community Access Television, inviting you to a chilly edition of Missoula Live. Only it wasn't live because yesterday was President's Day.
Right,
it's
not
Tuesday,
live.
February the 20th. We have a few guests for you, 4 interesting groups. And I want to introduce my co-host,
Yes,
Kim
hi.
Anderson.
Kim Anderson. I'm on the board of
Yes.
MCAT, and I'm also the Director of Programs and Grants for Humanities Montana.
You guys have a really interesting series coming up on the
Yes.
role of journalism
Can
and
I
democracy.
talk about that for 1 second?
Please,
Okay.
and we can show the website. That's where I
Yes,
noticed
I have a
it.
brand new banner announcing this. We received funding from the Mellon Foundation, and it is to have conversations around the state on the importance of journalism in a democracy.
I think this is very well
And
timed.
it's a partnership with the Pulitzer Prize organization. There it is,
The Informed Citizen.
Initiative. And so what it means, among other things, is that we have a whole new catalog of programs available for community groups and middle schools and high schools. About 12 different programs on various aspects of journalism. Topics like what is fake news, topics like what are journalistic ethics. They do in fact exist, and reputable media organizations have, very codified ethics and standards and transparency policies. Things like what are the best movies featuring reporters?
Oh yeah, like the
Everyone
Post is
can talk
out
about that.
recently,
yeah, which is a
right?
great movie. Or another topic is investigative journalism. And as media companies have less funds for reporting, things like international reporting or long-term deep dives into topics, the dangers of that. So there's a whole bunch of topics. We'll also help your group have a conversation about various media issues if you're interested in doing that. And the way to access all of that is to go to our website.
As we showed
As
the
we
gentle
showed.
viewer at home.
It's called The Informed Citizen, or you can always just call me.
Yeah. And this is great, Kim, because it's available statewide, right? So if
Yes.
somebody is in a town, I don't know, maybe they're in Florence, maybe they're in Augusta, maybe they're in Sydney, maybe they're in Malta. They could access some of the speakers and have a program like in their local
and it's
library or community
free
center.
to the group. We
Right.
cover all the costs.
Yeah, that's really great and
Yeah,
a
it's
great
exciting.
service. It's Humanities Montana.
Montana.org.
Yeah, and sometimes, we put the show, Scott will put it on Facebook, so its range is out of town. So if any of you out-of-towners are watching, go to humanitiesmontana.org and just to see, because this is a fascinating topic. I mean, not just its political currency, but I was thinking of what a short time it is. Like when you and I were young, the internet wasn't invented.
Exactly.
There was the paper.
Right.
The
And
paper
you
of
watched
record,
your father
right?
and mother read the
The
paper.
paper.
And there was
So
only the
that
one. Yeah.
There wasn't so many stories. And so I feel like I'm either devolving or evolving.
I mean, part of it is
right?
good. I start every morning reading the New York Times.
Yeah,
I
how
could not
shocking
have
is
done that,
Wall Street Journal.
30 years ago.
Then I switched to BBC.
Right.
Then I switched to CNN.
I know.
But there's so much we take in.
Yeah.
And there's so many stories.
And it's really hard to know where if you're getting your news on Facebook, it's hard to know where it's coming from.
Right, it really is. And then, of course, if you're, of a particular political persuasion, well, likely you're seeing everything from your persuasion.
I do a little of that myself.
Crosswise. So sometimes when people on Facebook have a friend that politically doesn't lean in their direction, they're shocked at some of the stuff either side. It's like, what? So I think this really deserves a lot of thought and a lot of conversation, and so that's terrific. And remember, MCAT recorded a live stream for you guys from Imagination Brewery. That's on your Facebook page.
Yes, it
still.
is.
So people
it was a
watch
great
that.
example of the kind of community conversations that we can do in your community. It was in a brewery.
It wasn't painful
It
from
was
what I gathered.
fun.
It was not
fun, and it was standing room only.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And people were able to ask questions, and they also asked questions via the World Wide Web.
Right.
Because they were watching.
Because we
the
were
live
streaming, thanks to you.
You're welcome. So apropos of MCAT, there are a few things I would like to talk about. One thing is our public input focus
This
groups.
is all new to me because I've been out of town.
Yeah, so what we're doing is asking people in the community to take a look at the MCAT.org. This is where they're going to see it. See the splash or landing page. Says MCAT focus groups. And then there's actually its own page in the upper left, focus groups. You can click on that, Scott, and we'll show people. There's language there that explains what we're doing.
Right.
What we're doing is trying to get community input so that when the city of Missoula goes to talk to the cable supplier, Charter Spectrum, they'll say, wow, we talked to 80 people, 100 people, and they said this about the next 10 years. Local media, Missoula, these are some of the needs that we'll have. So that's what we're inviting the general public to do, is to pick out a focus group, and they all meet at the Missoula Public Library, the large meeting room downstairs. It'll be Tuesday, April 3rd, Wednesday, April 4th, 4 focus groups, and they have categories.
Right.
But the notion is, just go to whatever fits your schedule, it would be okay. Categories may be a plus, because there may be a conversation around themes like education or community, nonprofit, civic and faith-based groups.
Right.
That kind of thing. So that is one invitation. Another invitation comes from Neil and Scott, who are our youth media counselors. So they want to have a spring flicks. They had like a winter picks, and now they're up to spring flicks. This is Scott's design.
Nice,
It's full of
Scott.
fun.
I like it.
$150 is looming there.
Wow.
But these spring flicks it's like a day media camp for kids. So parents think, ooh, that's a long period of time, for the kids to be home.
This is spring break.
Yeah, for spring break. I think it's March 26th and March 30th. And you can go on MCAT.org, and this is the third of the splash pages, or second. It kind of describes what's going on. The camps will have activity 9 to 3. We'll have pre and post care. That's where the kids can hang out, eat snacks, wait for the parents to be able to pick them up, and so on. And this is, I think it's 4 days. I'm waiting for Scott to correct me. I think,
5?
Okay, he said it's 5 days. It's Monday through Friday.
That is such a bargain.
$150.
To keep your kids busy over spring break.
Yeah,
that's
a
huge bargain.
It's pretty much the same period that school would meet.
Yeah.
Like sometime after 8 till sometime after
Do it.
3. So all that's on the website. I'm out of stuff. Well, except Saturday Animation, which is doing a very nice trade of youngsters.
Brisk business?
Brisk business. I think those guys had 14, if I counted right, last Saturday, and they've been averaging now 10 to 14 kids. And that's every Saturday, 1 to 5 p.m. for $10. You can drop off your child, and they can do stop animation. They can play with our virtual reality.
Right.
They can play on Scott's hoverboard if they don't promise not to break a bone.
It's got to be nice to Scott, though.
Yeah, I suppose that's part of it. Well, that's all the news that I think I should give about MCAT.
Busy.
So we get to welcome our first guest, Katie Nelson.
Hello.
Thank you.
Thank you for being so patient while we run through our stuff.
Katie's here to represent Moon Randolph Homestead, where she's co-caretaker. And they have an event coming up called Prune the Moon, which I think is cool.
Oh.
It's Saturday, March 10th. Take it away.
Great. Yeah. So this is an event that got started about 3 years ago when a former caretaker, Matt LaRubio, who now works and helps run Western Cider.
Yeah.
When he lived at the Moon Randolph Homestead, he got to know the orchard, and this orchard was planted in the 1890s.
That's right.
More than 100 years ago, and the trees have been they're big and they're kind of gnarly, and they haven't been tended hadn't been tended for quite some time until Matt got the idea to hold this event. And it's a really neat opportunity to get out and learn about pruning with some really experienced arborists. We'll have Mark Vandermeer of Watershed Consulting and Bad Goat Lumber, and then Michael Billingsley of Western Cider out to help, whether you are a very experienced arborist and tree climber or are just interested in learning how to prune, we can get people out in the field and enjoy the late winter and a beautiful orchard.
Yeah. And the purpose of it is to get those trees back in the condition that they should be in.
That's right. Yeah. So I think that it'll never be like a production orchard.
Right.
but we picked a lot of apples actually this past year to make cider, and we're hoping that kind of with continued pruning and regeneration that the trees will be more productive.
And it's an educational opportunity too.
Absolutely.
If people want to learn how to do their own pruning.
I'm scared to death to prune. I
Yeah,
would love
I
to
am
learn
too.
how to
I have to
prune. I always
admit.
think it's the wrong time or in the wrong spot.
Well, and my thing is benign neglect.
Yeah.
Around my house, there's an apricot tree.
Yeah.
And I'll go ahead and say it. It's the only one left. Like, it just cut
Yeah.
into my heart when Katie said, it's from 1890, because it wasn't my orchard necessarily. Behind my house, there was an orchard planted in the 1890s.
Yeah.
And it had 5 cherry trees, 8 apple trees, and 2 apricot trees. There's 1 apricot tree left. When the Orange Street Bridge was widened, it came in that way. And with it went that orchard, So there's 1 apricot tree there, and in the front, a pear. And the pear's gone wild. And this is what happens with benign neglect. It goes wild, right? And then it's all over the yard, or it's like where people want to park, or it's in the neighbor's yard, and so on. So I really need to go. I need to wake up,
Good idea.
smell the pear coffee, because I'm
coffee
not
there.
sure what to do. It has, it's very old, both of these trees. But the pear tree, in the spring, it looks like an old woman holding a baby, the gnarled bark and everything. And then the little pear blossoms. But it's so big, like I think, well, should you cut the small ones? And I think the timing is important, isn't it?
That's
you don't want to
right.
be pruning in the middle of summer when the sap is running and so on.
Well, it kind of depends. So kind of the bulk of the pruning happens in late winter. So you got to wait until after the last 0-degree day. And it's to kind of avoid winter injury. And so we're usually like late February or early March is kind of the good time to get started with that. And then you want to do that until before the apples start blossoming.
Right.
And so and then in the summertime is actually a good time to prune kind of the suckers that come up.
Yeah.
And so just those little
shoots that
go
people say
straight
they
up
take
in
all
the
the
air.
water
Yeah,
from the main
exactly.
body.
Right.
Exactly. And if you trim those out, then it can really help your fruit production actually.
And I mean, those trees are just such a huge part of the history of the Moon Randolph homestead.
Yeah, in Missoula, really. I mean,
Yeah.
this used to be a huge apple producing region, and it's kind of interesting. It's starting to be revitalized, I think, with the cideries.
With the
coming in.
cideries, right.
And so, I think a lot of people around Missoula and in the Bitterroot and so forth, just the whole region really, are kind of taking a look at these old apple trees that are just in the backyard that, produce really tiny fruits, and wondering, if I gave it a little pruning and a little bit of attention, would they get bigger and would it be more productive?
Yeah, there's a great opportunity to find out. And we didn't really, in general, explain to the dear viewers what the Moon Randolph homestead is. But Scott, maybe you could play just the beginning of the clip of the out and about when we go to change guests, which will be soon, I guess, because apparently Friends of Irish Studies are going to do a little performance.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
good.
They brought some instruments
That's
and stuff, and
exciting.
we don't want
Yeah,
to torture you
goodness.
anymore.
Yeah. So
But
give us the when, where, and how again. One
Yeah.
more time.
Sure, it's going to be Saturday, March 10th.
March 10th.
From 9 to 3 p.m. We'll have black coffee there in the morning, and just to get you going.
Yeah.
And then we'll have probably some chili for lunch and some bread from Great Harvest.
Do people have to bring their tools?
So, great question. We'll have
Yeah,
tools
that's a good
available.
question.
If people want to bring tools, that would be great.
Okay.
And, again, like, if you're very experienced, you're more than welcome. If you have never done this before, you can come on up and learn a few things. It's a good idea to bring some warm clothes and layers, because it's early spring. You never know if it's going to be, cold and wet. And
then suddenly sunny and really hot.
it's a good idea to bring some water, too.
Right. Oh.
And we're just saying, because limbs will be falling and that sort of thing, no dogs and unattended children for this event. So.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And then it's at 1515 Spurlock Road.
That's correct.
Which, for people how many people in this town have gone to the dump? You know,
Yeah.
it's right. You go like you're going to the dump, but then you hang a
Essentially.
right
On Spurlock Road.
on Spurlock.
Yeah. And
So-
then hang another right where you see the sign for Moon Randolph.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because the homestead is really just on the other side of Waterworks Hill,
Right.
and the draw on the north side of Waterworks Hill. So to get there, that's the deal. You have to
Yeah.
go like you're going to the dump.
I didn't know that.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No.
Yeah, I was thinking maybe Katie walked over. Because
Over
Well,
that
I was
hill.
but not
impressed.
today.
Yeah.
No, not
She walked
today.
over
Not today.
from work.
Right, from work.
So that is it. Katie, thanks so much for taking
Thanks
the
for
time.
Sounds like
I
a
really
great
appreciate
event.
And Scott's going to show you guys just a little bit of a visit that I paid last fall to Moon Randolph Homestead. And at the beginning, there's explanation of what a homestead means and
Yeah.
how this wonderful property came into county hands. So
Great.
you'll see that
City
movie
hands, yeah.
right back.
City hands.
Who are we going to bring in?
It's
Was
the-
Caroline second? Oh no, did Traylock proceed or?
They can find it out.
I think we're bringing in the Irish people next, so hang on and take a look at Moon Randolph Homestead.
There. Can I tell you a cat joke? Just kidding. Why did the girl ask the mushroom to dance? Because he was a fun guy. What do you call a pig that knows karate? Pork chop. Why was the basketball court all wet? Why? Because the players kept dribbling all over it. Can I tell you another one? So how does a tissue dance? Put a little boogie on it. What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. What is a boxer's favorite drink? Fruit punch.
Missoula Community Access Television works with kids in an active learning environment where they get hands-on experience in video production. MCAT offers weekly Saturday classes that spark creativity in kids from 9 to 13 years of age. Located downtown at 500 North Higgins. MCAT Saturday Drop-Ins. Create your story.
Ranchers are the stewards of Montana's great grasslands and wetlands. Ducks Unlimited works with ranchers on conservation programs to improve cattle production and wildlife habitat. Montana is the nation's third largest waterfowl producer. Ducks Unlimited promotes working lands programs that help keep ranchers on the land while improving habitat for wildlife and Montana's outdoors people. To learn more about conservation and Ducks Unlimited, visit www.ducks.org/Montana.
Yes, we are
Here we're
back. We're back with one of our favorite guests, Trey Locker-Reardon.
Thank you so much, Joe.
Thank you so much for coming. So there's some excitement, and you brought someone with you.
I did. I brought a good friend of mine from Ireland, Danny O'Mahony, and he's over here as part of our Springtime of Irish Music series, which we run every 2 years as part of the Irish Studies program.
Right.
And what we do is we bring out to out here to Missoula and to Butte musicians who are custodians of the tradition.
Yeah.
They're the ones who've inherited this the musical traditions from their own area. They play the music, share the music, and they come out to talk about their instruments, their experience of the tradition, the importance of the tradition, and they get the young students we have here and the community to understand, that Irish music has this heritage going back hundreds and hundreds of years. It's its own language that's speaking to us, reminding us of our history and our heritage and who we are, and knowing that where we're going.
Yeah.
So it's pretty exciting. It's great to have people like Danny, so talented and so well able to speak to this tradition, willing to come out here, this long journey, this time of the year, with this
it's
cold.
double, right? Because you think, say Dublin maybe to New York, you're like, oh my God. And they're like, no, you got to go on.
There's more.
There is.
And it will be 0 degrees when you get here.
Yes, we're not used to this type of cold, but it's wonderful, to be honest. It's kind of refreshing.
It's a
Bracing.
shocker, yeah. I mean, if you don't live in it, especially. I brought some Brazilians up here, and when they first saw the snow, one of them just started crying. He just bust out crying. I'm like, I'm crying, but for a different reason, see? He just thought it was so beautiful,
Yeah.
So that's great about travel.
Yeah, well, that's the first image when you see and you talked about it when you came in yesterday and you saw the snow,
Yeah. I mean, when we flew into the airport yesterday evening, it's that blueness that's very distinctive. You don't get it. We don't get it. We certainly don't get it. And then getting up this morning, when you look out the window, and even when we got the chance to get out of the hotel and walk across through the campus on the university, and that it's the brightness that hits you immediately. It's that whiteness
The
and
reflection,
clarity. I associate a bit with Scandinavia or Norway.
Oh, sure, yeah.
I don't get that too many places, but it's certainly here, and it's fiercely refreshing.
See, isn't it funny? We all want something else. Everyone else now we want to be on the Emerald Island. We want us to get like soft rain and some roses or something.
But we got plenty of green.
Green,
We got plenty of shades of green for you. Which is true. Every place has its own kind of distinctively beautiful features.
Just in case someone has never tuned into this show, could you give them a little thumb sketch of the Irish Studies program and how this music series is a fundraiser?
Well, the Irish Studies program, obviously, you have an Irish Studies program in Montana because you have so many Irish in Montana.
Yeah.
Ours is the largest one west of the Mississippi, and really that's because of the huge support that we receive from the community. It's actually extraordinary because people have asked me, well, how is it that you have such a large program in Montana and they can't get one going in Seattle or San Francisco or Denver? I always say you got to come and meet the Irish of Montana. The historical experience was so different. They came rather to a city, they built their own, they worked for an Irishman, so they got this great kind of sense of we can do this,
Yeah.
this kind of self-belief, and it's truly support of the community. And the Friends of Irish Studies, the Ancient Order of Hibernians, we have people that are part of the Buttes, Liverpool Archives, Montana Haste, all over the state and outside the state, that help to promote Irish Studies. And we're very, very fortunate as well that we have the University of Montana so willing and so supportive of the program. So it has been growing and growing, and we have Irish language, and we have the music and the dance and literature and history and study abroad and all these different aspects. But there's certain elements that I really enjoy, and one of them is the music and bringing over musicians from Ireland. And when they come and meet the musicians from the United States, that are from our area here, it's like the coming together of a family. They're speaking the same language.
Yeah.
This is what music is doing. And there's a great kind of a coming together and a celebration, and a great understanding that this culture does not belong in Ireland. It's actually a global culture now, and it unites those of Ireland and those of Irish heritage throughout the world, and even those who are not in terms of the DNA of Irish, but they are basically Irish in their kind of cultural kind of identity. They gravitate towards Irish music and Irish literature and Irish history. There's something about the country, you know,
Yeah.
and they embrace this culture, and in doing so they become as Irish as the Irish themselves. Something like the Normans did back in the 12th centuries. What
Well,
did they say?
Only less bloody.
I mean,
Yeah.
isn't it natural enough, you know, like the American experience, unless you're part of the First Nations, right, is sort of like the plunk of the diaspora, you know, like everybody's back there, you know, say, oh, he's from back east, back east. And so there's always a sense like there was a homeland. It was way back there, and it's lost in the ancestors, right? Because you hear the parents talk about the parents and so on. But there's something about the music probably really relates people on some, you know,
It's
level,
just
right?
such a visceral
Instinctual
level,
or
yeah.
something like that.
Yeah, but you have this kind of, I suppose, hyphenated Americans, because we have Irish Americans and German Americans and Italian Americans. So there's this idea of being American is one thing, but there's this cultural identity that you can also retain over here, and that's one of the great things about the American experience, that you can retain this distinctly Irish cultural identity and be American the same way you can if you're Italian or German or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You know, and they all form this great kind of American culture. But it's, I mean, for us, like coming out here to a place like Montana, where there's such a strong Irish identity and heritage, in many ways it's like going to some other part of Ireland. I kind of reminded when my daughter was celebrating, they were celebrating the centenary of Dunquin School, which is a very famous school back in Ireland, and my daughter was going to school there, and there was another little girl who was asked by the TV presenter, because this was national news, about this girl from America, and where did she come from, or this visitor, and the girl says, oh, she came from Butte, which wasn't true, she's from Missoula.
Right.
And the presenter said, call Butte, which where's Butte, and the girl said, Harroganoch and Akalish and Nang, and over the hill alongside Dingle. To her mind,
Well, then.
Butte was like someplace like Killarney, Galway. In the same sense, it's like that with Montana. Sometimes you say, okay, we're here in America, but it doesn't feel like you're here in America. It feels like you're back at home. And this is something that others that have come out from Ireland have talked about, like Liam O'Muan Lee, who's down there, and others have said, I've spoken more Irish in Montana than I have at home. I feel more Irish in Montana, or I feel more at home.
That's fascinating.
Yeah. So there's this kind of a culture that has kind of been passed down through the generations. I mean, you got the oldest constantly running division of the ancient order of Hibernians in Montana.
Yeah.
It's been here since 1885, out in Anaconda.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it. I could tell you stories years ago, but we better get on within the concert.
Oh, yeah.
You know, for the 50th anniversary of Pearl Harbor, and that was December 7th, 1991, we took a whole bunch of these Missoula freaks over to Anaconda to the Club Moderne for a party. We rented a bus, took 80 people over there, and we were in the back room. In the front room was the meeting of the Ancient Order of Hibernians. And what could be better? It was a costume party, everybody dressed in 40s.
Right.
And there were so many old ladies to take around the floor, and everyone was so thrilled.
Yeah, they were great.
AOH all the way.
Yeah.
But we better give them the dates or something.
Yeah, so
I know we'll get in trouble.
This year's
And then a
series-
song.
Yeah.
Or a song and then the dates. Your choice.
Why not? Should we play a tune for
Play a
you?
tune.
Please
Yeah,
do,
that's
Danny.
it.
Please
We'll
do.
whet the appetite and we'll tell them how to satisfy.
Right.
Sure, yeah. I play a few tunes on this old instrument which is made in America. Like all things made in America, it's pretty powerful. It was made for Tom Carmody, who was a great granduncle of mine, and he was a famous Irish musician, recorded commercially for the Columbia record label in New York City in 1935 and 6. So he became a renowned musician in the States, really. He was the first Irish musician to be resident Irish entertainer in the Waldorf Astoria Hotel.
Wow.
New York, yeah. So he was, and he came as an immigrant in 1925 and retained that Irishness through the music that Trailock was talking about. He intermingled, I suppose, with some of the great musicians that had made the journey before that, and recorded in America with them. And those recordings in turn went back to Ireland as 78 records, and they inspired the generation that came after them. You know, these recordings that were made in America were vital to the development of traditional Irish music in Ireland because the musicians in Ireland were hearing these records. They would never have heard these musicians.
Oh,
So it's
echo
this
back.
great
Mhm.
cycle,
Yes,
yeah.
for sure, yeah.
Fabulous.
And, yeah, I'm just delighted the instrument survived. Tom returned in the 60s. He was born in 1893. In fact, the same year that the university was founded here. And he lived until 1986, lived a long life. And but after he passed, the instrument fell into hands of some people who were not quite sure of how to take care of it, and it wound up outdoors in a shed and not in a very safe place. And thankfully we were able to restore what needed restoring, and it sounds as it did almost 100 years ago now. So I play some tunes that Tom recorded on it, on those recordings for Columbia. This one was The Stick Across the Hob, which was the tune that left with Tom, that he brought to America and recorded, You might have danced.
Well,
Not
my
tonight.
back has been getting to me, all the work I have to do around here. But that makes you want to. It's a toe tapper, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, old Irish jigs, yeah.
Yeah. It's just always so amazing to me that the number of harmonies you can get out of this one relatively small package.
Yeah, I think it always amazes people the essence of like folk music, right? So that people equate wealth in the wrong sort of way. So they want to see a great big Steinway, and be told it is $75,000 or something like this. And somebody plays it, but then the same effect can come from an instrument of modest means. And everyone's amazed, like, oh, I'm amazed that,
Plus you can take this with you. And you can't take the Steinway.
Like the guitar and the flute and these other instruments of modest
means. You can bring
means.
it with you. It's
they go in places, right?
A big part of folk music,
Yeah.
I think, is...
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, we should tell people some of the dates.
How to get to hear more of
and
this
then,
music.
I don't know if Scott can show people at home.
Oh, this is
or
our
does he have to
poster.
zoom in? I don't know if he can. Oh, he's really going to zoom
That's
right in.
not
on
going to
you.
be helpful, yeah.
Probably not. All right, I'll say some. This is Missoula, February 8th happened in Butte.
Yeah.
Okay. And then February 22nd is happening in short order.
This is Danny playing, 2 days from today, so
This is Thursday.
Thursday night.
At 7:30, UM Recital Hall.
Oh, yeah, that's a great space.
And you can get the tickets at the door on the night. You can get them online at friendsofirishstudies.com, or you can get them up at Rock and Rudy's.
Oh, great. Everyone knows to go to Breckenridge for tickets.
Tickets are $15 per concert and $45 for season passes. Even though they missed one, so maybe they wouldn't unless they want to make a donation.
Still a great bargain. And then if you're not in the Missoula area, Danny's going to be in Butte, right?
On Saturday. The 24th at the Montana Tech Library Auditorium, again at 7:30.
Okay.
So, yeah, there's 2 opportunities to hear Danny. It's going to be awesome. Awesome.
Excellent. And then into next month, there's still more concerts.
There is, because next month's the month of the Irish. It's the month of March.
Yeah, oh my gosh.
That's why you're going to have me in here every week.
Yeah, that's right. Leading up to
put a bed over here.
We're just going to turn the show over to Trailer next week. That's right.
So those concerts in Butte, March 9th, in Missoula, March 10th.
Yeah.
And then again, March 23rd, and the final on March 24th.
Correct. And we have our St. Patrick's Day celebration then, the 17th, which is the actual feast.
And you have to be back for that because you have the dinner and the fundraiser and everything.
The whole lot,
So people can go, what is the website they can go to get all of this?
FriendsOfIrishStudies.com.
FriendsOfIrishStudies.com, or just the Irish Studies website at University of Montana.
Okay.
Either one.
Thursday night's concert on the 22nd is the next chance you can have.
2 days from now, dear viewer.
To hear Danny, to hear more music in the Music Recital Hall, which is a great space.
Yeah, wonderful acoustics. You know it from 2 years ago, 3 years ago now. And I have to say, the concert, the Christmas concert, I took a bit, the Parting Glass, which is really, I guess, Scottish, but also adapted into the Irish. So I took that bit of the girls and put it on Facebook. I put $5 on it, just to make sure I got in front of somebody's.
Not as a bet.
5,000 views of the Parting Glass, of that harmony. 5,000 views.
Wow.
On
they were all kids, that they're all Irish. They're all Irish studies students.
Yeah.
They came together and put that. It was an incredible concert.
Yeah, it really was. And that one bit, it was so popular.
Yeah,
and it's so perfect for the Christmas time, because it's so sentimental.
Yeah.
And, well, whatever. Danny, thank you so much for that song. Welcome again to the chilly parts.
Thanks for coming all the way to Montana.
Your brave soul and the brave souls who travel with you.
Lovely to be back.
In the back.
Anya and I were delighted to be able to return, and please God, we'll be back again another time.
Yes. Looking forward to the concert.
Yeah, please, people, go see FriendsOfIrishStudies.com or Irish Studies at University website so you can learn more about what we've just been talking about. So we better get Caroline Patterson out here. She's going to get angry.
Caroline and Stephen are just going to go
he's
home.
going to be really mad, but there's still some hope that she'll talk to us. So right after this, Caroline Patterson will be here talking about Missoula Writing Collaborative Writers Room.
Yes.
Right? So Scott's going to show you something. We'll be right back.
And we'll have you repeat it to us. Right? Ho roche da va ho well ya. 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 Unleasher hot on Tauri. Unleasher hot on Tauri. Right, ready? Yeah. Everybody got it? It's in your programs. Oh, Roshela, oh, well, yeah. Oh, Roshela, oh, well, yeah. Oh, Roshela, oh, well, yeah. And it's your hot and towering. Shade of a hard lane for the bear, Baku, and gave the Fuki, Rai, shell of Merla. Stood you to Leshna falling. Oh, Roshela, oh, well, yeah. Oh, Roshela, oh, well, yeah. Oh, Roshela,
And we're ready. There we are.
Oh, we're back.
Yeah.
I was just about to fix my shoulder. Ouch.
Still with the back problems.
So we are here with Stephen Culm. He is the Dean of the College of Visual and Performing Arts at the University of Montana. Welcome.
Thank you.
Thanks
Pleasure
for
to be
coming.
here.
Taking the time to tell us a little bit about the Odyssey of the Stars this year.
Well, it's a pretty exciting production we have this year. This is our 18th annual Odyssey of the Stars.
Oh my gosh.
It's a big fundraiser for
Yeah.
our students at the university and the School of Art, School of Media Arts, School of Music and Theater and Dance. And the Odyssey is sort of about the past, the present, and the future. We celebrate, each year we celebrate an alum that's done well in the world. We also show off our current students and faculty and the talents during that evening. And of course, it's about the future because all the proceeds go to scholarships for students yet to come. So
Right.
This year we have Casey Criley, and Casey is Emmy Award-winning executive producer of Top Chef, and has been a producer of Project Runway and a host of other shows.
All my favorite shows.
Yes, exactly.
And a Top Chef Junior.
Top Chef
Oh, yeah,
Junior,
that
yes.
was adorable. I saw
Was
that. It was
it?
very cute.
Were they for like kids?
And the show itself this year, I think, is going to be a Project Runway theme.
Oh my God.
Yes. So if you love Project Runway, you don't want to miss this Odyssey. It's going to be pretty amazing.
Oh, that's excellent. And it's really supporting a good cause.
Yeah.
And there's opportunity for sponsorship as well. It may be a little late for it, but it's
No.
March 3rd, right, the
Yeah,
event?
you bet.
So, no.
No.
People could still be sponsors, platinum, gold, silver, bronze, or they could just go to the show, right? And
They could just go to the
really
show
would be
and-
doing good that way.
And all proceeds go towards student scholarships. So we're really excited about that. Over the 18 years or 17 years that we've done this show, we've earned over $625,000 in scholarships. We've given
Wow.
Yeah.
$625,000 in scholarships to
Amazing.
students. So
That's really
that's
great.
I think considerable and meaningful and impactful.
Absolutely. And I think one of the most amazing things as I've, attended the Odyssey and or read about it, is the amazing number of people working at the very top of their businesses, their fields that have come out of this school.
Yeah, I'm pretty proud of that. It's pretty amazing, and I keep learning about it, people
Yeah.
as well, which is sort of amazing.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I went to New York, and one of our graduates is the lighting designer at the Metropolitan Opera. Gave me a
Oh my
tour of the entire
gosh.
place, how
Oh,
it
that's
was
wonderful.
exciting.
Wow.
And then I met two paintings graduates who were both teaching at colleges in the New York area and had exhibitions. So it was pretty amazing just to realize how many of our students are still out there doing great work. And some of them have gone on to different fields, but many of them have sort of testified that the experience and the arts education really prepared them well.
Yeah, and in a very practical way. I'm going to second that. Years ago, maybe 5 years ago, we hired someone to be a work study student from the School of Media Arts, Henry Hawkins.
Right.
Now he's in LA. We're Facebook friends. He's doing all these music videos. He's having the time of his life, and so on.
That's fantastic.
And he is,
Yeah.
Henry is from Anaconda.
Right.
And
Right.
so it was a big leap for him to go Anaconda to Missoula, okay, shock enough, and then Missoula to LA,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
that I think it's really wonderful that students, that Montana might be considered a rural state, but the education they receive
Right.
actually does prepare them.
It does, and Missoula is such an incredible arts community
Yeah.
that I
Yeah.
think there's so many other opportunities, like interning here or in other places around Missoula, or even in Western Montana, that a lot of our students get some great experiences.
Yeah.
And I was telling Stephen before the show,
Oh, yeah.
I remember Casey when she was a student here.
Yeah.
And so I feel actual personal pride just because I knew her when. So it's great that she's coming home. And of course, her parents have a long history with the university as well.
They do, yeah. I mean, Jim Criley taught at the university for many years, really rejuvenated, took the Montana Rep to another level, and then became the dean of the college.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Was responsible for the PARTV building and the renovation of the at the then University Theater, and a great, and actually really the establishment of the Media Arts School.
That's what I was going to say.
Right.
Remember years ago, Greg Johnson calling me, and he said, well, Jim Crowley is very interested in media arts. This was like 1996, and I was doing a lot of art video in town and being the artist in the schools for MCAT back in those days. And he said, so I'm really interested. What is media art? And I'm like, well, if it's the weird stuff I do, I don't know.
And as it continually evolves, we keep asking that question.
Yeah.
Yes.
What will it be? Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
But it's been a fantastic involvement of electronics. When you think about it, the switch from film to what's now called like electronic cinematography or something like this.
Yeah.
In '96, the computer being able to do some editing was just about being invented. And there was a revolution of people in the old days, if you wanted to do something like what we're doing right now, it would have cost maybe $100,000. Everything involved in making this show, the 3 cameras, the switcher back there, under $30,000.
We have students who make films on their on their phones and can edit away.
Very interesting world. Of
And
the
it could
arts.
end up at Sundance. I mean,
it's
that's
amazing.
what's so incredible.
It is kind of shocking.
For people who haven't been to the Odyssey before, it's a stage show, correct?
Yeah.
It is a stage show. This year it will have quite a bit of. It'll have live cameramen and camera women, and also it'll have all sorts of films because it'll have that sort of a reality TV type set along with it, but it'll have live performances. It will have
a fashion show or something about.
Well, I'm not going to give it all away, but I think I think it'll have elements of all those things sort of in there, and it's I think it should be a fun evening. It's
Sounds
pretty
like
exciting
it.
to be involved in the production.
I want to to direct the dear viewers to a website or something if they want to buy.
Yeah,
tickets.
you can go to umt.edu/umarts/odyssey, and you can also call 406. Let's see,
I got
243-4970.
They've got the website up there.
And then we got the grizztix.com.
Grizztix.
People want to go there.
You can go to Grizztix.
And UM box office 243-4581.
Can they just
4581? Yes.
Can they just show up at the Part TV?
And they
box
can.
office?
They can show up at the Part TV box office. We'll have some tickets available the day of the performance. So I think it's a great thing to do.
Yeah, and we're not going to scare them. It's adults at 30. Students at 15, which is going to a super good cause. I mean, you'd mentioned, Steve, that $625,000 has been raised in the history of Odyssey.
Over the last 17 years, that's what we've been able to give to students in scholarships because of this event. So that's pretty impressive.
It really is. Well, thanks for taking the time to come in and talk to us about it.
I'm looking forward to it now. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's March 3rd, people. Start time
7:30 at the Denison Theater.
Okay.
Denison Theater, 7:30. You saw it here.
Well, if you get there a little early, I think there's a little pre-show stuff.
Oh, is that right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to bring in our very patient Caroline for the writing collaborative, right? There's no mistake about it. Right after this, you're going to hear about the Writer's Room, a really interesting opportunity to explore or hone your writing skills. So stay with us. We'll be back in a jiff.
Hey, how's it going over? Oh, have a good day. Oh, I didn't see you over there. What a nice day to be out and about today. But I want to tell you something about what's going on here. Hold on a second. Let me just adjust this. Okay, there you go. Let me talk about MCAT. MCAT is doing Saturday drop-ins starting every Saturday this fall, winter, and spring season from 1 to 5 p.m. Let's go check it out. Come on. MCAT is a great way to create. All you got to do is come on down to our location at 500 North Higgins. It's as easy as that. See you there.
So how was work?
It was 1,300 hours. My math class from 302 was in the trenches. Davy Roth had it the worst. Fractions were coming at him left and right. He just didn't get the damn things. 2 days ago, I tried to teach him what 1/4 of 1/2 was using different sizes of blocks. Yesterday, I tried again by dividing up pizza. Both missions failed.
Oh, no.
But today, I was ready. I created a combat math game where the only way to beat the enemy is to out-fraction them. Davy conquered every last denominator. My game was so successful, the principal is deploying it to math squadrons all over the school. Anywho, how was your day?
Oh, today my boss treated the office to salad wraps.
Salad wraps.
No.
Elder abuse is a growing problem, and it's happening right here in our Montana communities. At least 1 in 10 older adults are victims of physical or emotional abuse, financial exploitation, or neglect. To get help or report elder abuse, call your local area agency on aging or Adult Protective Services at 1-844-277-9300.
We are back after a brief discussion of how we look on TV.
Right, we want an on-staff makeup artist.
Caroline is here to talk about the Missoula Writing Collaborative and the Writers' Room in particular. Welcome and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You know it. Thanks for waiting.
Yes.
It's not always easy to be the last one on.
Now, is this the second or third year you've done this?
This is the third year.
Third year?
We moved it up a little bit because we thought we were trying to do this in April for Poetry Month, but we think that bad weather is more conducive to writing workshops.
That's probably.
I think that's true.
But they've been really successful for us, and they've been really fun. It's a really fun time to for people to come and try out some of our classes in poetry and fiction, and so we have songwriting again this year, which is really popular with Carolyn Keys, who a lot of people know from playing music around town. And they're short, they're 2 hour long classes, and teachers can get OPI credits for them, so they can get their teaching credits.
I see. And OPI is Office of Public Instruction.
Office of
and
Public
teachers
Instructions.
each year should do something to enhance their
continuing education.
Continuing education.
Yeah.
So this year we moved it up to March 3rd, and which is a Saturday, and there's 2 sets of classes. One's at 10 in the morning, and the other is at 2, and then we always have a little writers can't go without their cocktail parties. So we have a little 4:30 cocktail party at Radius Gallery, and that's always really fun. Everybody just gathers and looks at all the beautiful art and gets a chance to kind of get to know each other at the end of the day. So it's a really fun day, and we get people, a lot of times we get people from the surrounding communities too, and it's a great chance to just try your hand at things that are new, so short story, or Cheryl's doing a collage poem with using the poetics of Bachelard, cutting them into pieces and then reassembling it into a new poem of your own, which is that's really fun to do.
Are they words, you mean, and then they move the words
like phrases
around?
or
words or
cut
phrases?
them into words or phrases, and then you can move them around, just write poems of your own. So it's really fun to do that.
So the opportunities are in this one day, this one Saturday.
Different tracks.
From 10 to 12, you have a choice of, it looks like 4 different different
classes.
And you can pick whether it's poetry or songwriting or prose or short stories.
Right.
And then a break.
And then there's a lunch break, and there's not any established lunch. You know, people just go off on their own. And then they can come back at 2, and there's another set of 3 classes that are independent. And again, we have one's on a graphic novel. One is on nature writing, and the other is on what is that? The form poetry.
Right.
Which is really fun. It's like a lot of times people, if you're kind of stuck writing or you've never really tried to write a lot of poetry, form writing is a great way to give it.
Absolutely.
Try to write it, because form poetry can free up a lot of things that you didn't even know you were thinking.
When you're counting syllables.
When you have to repeat lines at a certain interval. You often will come up with things that you didn't even know you were thinking.
It's like distracting your conscious mind.
Absolutely. It's like a way to trick your conscious mind into revealing.
Right. The other cool thing about these is that they're happening in all sorts of great businesses around town.
So one of the things we really wanted to do was
I thought they were the sponsors.
No, one of the things we wanted to do was to keep it downtown so people could kind of mill around. I think it gives it kind of a lively feel.
Yeah.
So it's at Shakespeare and Company and Fact and Fiction and Boyle, Devney and Meyer.
That building on 4th, the Ditchstone building.
And then Monolode, which is one of the buildings, it's also downtown. And then Radius Gallery is going to be where we have our cocktail party. But it's a nice way to kind of buzz around between classes. Everything's walking distance apart. And the classes are really inexpensive. They're $18 for students. They're $30, I think, for the general public. And $28 for the general public. It's very easy to sign up. You just go on this Missoula Writing Collaborative.submittable.com, and you can sign up for 1 or 2 classes, and the submittable fee will be attached to that, but it's very minimal.
We use it, for our media assistance grants. They're really wonderful.
Oh, it's so much.
So one workshop
easier, right?
For the general public is $28. 2 workshops is a screaming bargain at $50.
Yeah.
And plus a cocktail party.
Yeah, and the cocktail party is just, you just come and join us.
Right. So that's Saturday, March 3rd, and then you have something else going on in April, right?
So we do. This is a little new venture for us, and this is a poetry salon with one of the writers who's been with us for a very long time, Mark Gibbons. He's got, I think, 11 books of poetry out. And this will be a 6-week class, and he wanted it to be a poetry salon. So it's 6 weeks. A 6-week class will meet at Fact and Fiction, and students will work with him writing poetry, reading one another's work. He wants it to be very open and embracing as a workshop, and he's very welcoming. Again, teachers can get OPI credit for it. Mark has been a very successful and very popular writer in our schools. I think Kim, your son had him,
He taught
right?
my son, and I still have some of those poems. And I was actually in an informal writing group with Mark many, many years ago, and he is just wonderful. He's the most supportive, engaged, open to whatever you're trying to do. He would be a really great salon leader.
Because I think he understands, as good teachers do, that people have different voices and different takes, different approaches, and I think all of our writers do. I think that's why these classes will be really fun for people.
I think it's a brilliant idea, because why should kids get to have all the fun?
Well,
That's
yeah.
true. But we should point out to viewers who are not familiar, Missoula Writing Collaborative has done so much work in the schools for years, introducing kids to the art and pleasure of writing and so on.
Yes.
And this is something for adults, which
So
is
this
really
is
nice.
yeah, we haven't done a lot of adult programming, and this is just something we do a couple of times a year, so adults get a little sense of what it is that we do.
Yeah.
And so the parents and teachers get a chance for us to see what we do. So
it's a great idea.
It is. So we've got that website. It's long unsubmittable, but if people go to MissoulaWritingCollaborative.org, will they also link up with that?
Can you link from your website?
So here's a website to the
best
people at
place
home.
to go. Yeah, the best place to go is the Missoula Writing. MissoulaWritingCollaborative.submittable.com.
Really?
Yeah.
I know,
it's
Scott,
the
can you
best.
show it before you have to go? I know we have 1 minute, but you'd have to type it in. MissoulaWritingCollaborative.submittable.com.
Yeah.
That doesn't seem so hard.
No.
Missoula Writing Collaborative.submittable. Well, now I'm exhausted now that I said it. So it didn't seem that hard.
It's so
at
hard.
first.
But if we go to your website, is there a link there that'll take us to the submittable
Yes,
site?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay, because
everybody.
the right
Yeah, and there was a phone number on the poster. We could say that in the
Oh
waning.
yes. Okay.
Okay,
and
there's the
there's
submittable.
the submittable site, or you can call 549-3348 for more information.
That's
There you have it.
And that would be me.
That's her own
So-
personal phone. She'll probably be at the
Don't
grocery
abuse the
store.
privilege,
Yeah.
dear viewer.
Yeah. I'll be nice. I will be so helpful.
Well, it's great. I hope you get a good turnout.
I
it
do
sounds
too.
like a fun thing to do.
It really
both of
does.
them.
Yeah, thanks for taking the time to
Thank you
visit
for
with
having
us.
me,
Oh,
yeah.
you know that. I guess we better go, Kim.
Are we done?
Yeah, I've got 5 just now. So
We timed that well.
we did. The next program will be Monday, March 5th.
I'll be here.
Oh, excellent. I know we're going to have Missoula Aging Services. They're talking about March's Meals on Wheels.
Oh, yeah.
There's a women's fair going on with all the proceeds going to Silver Lining and to Living Art.
You are really organized.
Apparently, they're banging down my door.
See, everyone
So
wants to be on your show.
I guess that's the story, and your show too. So we'll see you guys for the new show on Monday, March 5th. Until then, for MCAT, I'm Joel Baird.
And I'm Kim Anderson.
We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.